Right. So today we're going to start by looking at the Power Platform range of products from Microsoft. Then Alan Crawford from Microsoft is going to discuss Viva with us, some recent changes, how they fit into education. And finally, we'll have Q&A at the end. So feel free to drop any questions into the chat. Another thing, a recording is being taken and it will be made available to you after the event. Okay. So start with Power BI. And Power BI is an excellent tool for creating reports and dashboards. And there are 4 versions for you to choose from. Firstly, there's Power BI Desktop, free of charge, which everybody likes. And it includes all the features of Pro, apart from a couple of very important ones. Namely, the ability to share the reports you create with others. And secondly, is the ability for others to view any reports you have shared with them. For both of these options, you will need a Power BI Pro license. This license is available as a standalone license, or it's included in Office 365 A5 or Microsoft 365 A5. And from this, we can deduce that your developers who create the reports, as well as viewers, will need a Power BI Pro license. Then there's the Power BI Premium Capacity Edition. This gives you your own dedicated report server in the cloud with some additional premium server features, such as the increased data refresh rates within the system. Importantly, though, it allows users without a Power BI Pro license to view reports. So if you're on A3, for instance, and haven't got A5 for all your users, it could be a cost-effective way of getting reports out there. Then there is a fairly new addition, Power BI Premium per user. This gives you the additional premium report server features at a more affordable price point, especially when the number of Power BI users is limited. There is one final option, which I haven't got on the slides, but you are able to publish Power BI reports on SQL Server Enterprise. This then means you have to manage your own reporting infrastructure instead of getting Microsoft to do all that for you, but it is available. One thing to consider when choosing between these options, or if you've got people with different versions within the system, the reports for each version are kept in different workspaces. So just something to be aware of. Try and keep everybody on the same version so that everybody has visibility into your reports. Okay, next we're going to recap on something we touched on last month, Power Apps licensing. So Power Apps licensing is included free of charge in Office 365 and can be used within the context of Office 365. So within Exchange Online, SharePoint Online, etc. However, this falls short of the needs of a lot of people, especially when they can get presented with a message saying that this is a premium feature. This is generally due to the requirement to use on-premise gateways to connect to on-premise data, premium connectors to connect to other applications, and possibly the need to use the data first. This premium functionality is included in Dynamics 365, but only within the context of Dynamics 365. So to get full premium functionality, you need a Power Apps license. And you get that via either Power Apps per user, which gives a user access to an unlimited number of apps, Power Apps per app, which gives a user access to a single app, or Power Apps portals, which gives unlimited user access, but it uses per login licensing. So you buy login capacity based on the number of users accessing per month. One thing to consider about the above is that anyone running an app needs a license as well as the creator, similar to Power BI licensing. Finally, there's Power Apps Pay-as-you-go, which I mentioned last month. It's a new type of license. You don't buy a license for it. It's included in your Azure subscription. And it's particularly useful if you have a large number of users needed to access an app, but it is only accessed on a very infrequent basis. So you would get charged on your Azure subscription then, based on the number of users accessing it each month. Okay, there's a link there to some more information on Power Apps licensing. I've put all the links into the chat window already. Finally, Power Automate. So Power Automate is a workflow tool, again, as part of the Power Platform portfolio. It's included in the Power Apps licenses. So if you've got Power Apps licenses, then you have Power Apps, but you're limited to the context of the app that you have developed. Similarly, it's included in Dynamics 365 within the context of your Dynamics 365 environment. So for full functionality with premium connectors, the on-premise gateway, etc., then you need to purchase a Power Automate license. There is a per user license, and in common with other Power Platform products, a license is needed for each user running the workflow. However, with Flow, there is a per flow option that allows multiple users to participate in the workflow without their own license. With per flow licensing, there is a minimum requirement of 5 flows that you need to purchase for this functionality. So all the Power Platform licensing, it's fairly complex, and the link on this slide connects to a Power Apps licensing guide. So for anybody who has trouble sleeping, you can access that. It's quite a document. Okay. Also, if you have any questions about the licensing, feel free to contact your account managers here at Pugh to discuss the licensing needs. They'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, that's enough from me. So, as I said, feel free to drop any questions into the Q&A. And now I'm going to pass you over to Alan Crawford. Over to you, Alan. You can take over control.
Thanks very much. I'm just going to share my screen with you. It's great to be here with you today. And hopefully that has now popped up. So everyone,
yes, can see it fine.
Getting my slides. So I'm going to be quick, I think, because we've got a lot to pack in around the Microsoft Viva suite and how we look to reimagine that employee experience. So first thing I want to point out, a lot of our slides are built for commercial use. So it talks about employee. I also want you to think in some cases about students. Not going to be in every aspect, but in some cases we're also thinking about the students here and how this works as we move forward. So let's jump straight in. The first bit that we're talking about really is what is an experience platform? So what is it that we're talking about when we're thinking about this? And if there's one thing that highlighted mental health and well-being hugely, it's what we've all been through. And I don't dwell on that now too much, but I think it has changed the way that we view and we focus on things, in particular to do with staff and students moving forward. So we're talking about things like insights and well-being. We're talking about learning and development and how your staff are continually learning and development with that kind of growth mindset opportunity. We're talking about purpose and alignment in terms of mission, goals, outcomes, achievements and recognition, culture and communications, and also knowledge and expertise. And then when we're talking about those and we're building these platforms out, we're making sure that we're putting people at the center. And you can see there that all this is built around our productivity and collaboration of email, chat, being able to be mobile, videoing, messaging. You'll see things coming out in Teams which are helping with those sorts of things in the next few months that are going to add some extra parts to this as we keep moving forward. So if we look at that a little bit deeper without getting too technical about it, it's about thinking about where do each of our things fit in here. So where do information workers or frontline workers, people that are doing the driving for you, for example, of minibuses, or those that are cleaners, I would think of those as the frontline workers who aren't always using the IT, but need to have access to it and need to be continually developing and understand what's going on. Role-based managers and leaders. So we've got the digital fabric, which is our collaboration, and we've got the engagement layer where we're starting to talk about the different apps, which is what Viva's made up of. Okay, and then there's some services in there as well, which can really help out. And at the bottom, I thought this was really important, is that we put in some of our points of solutions. So we're thinking about how we bring in content. Where does an LMS fit? Where does CRM fit? And where do the apps fit that we've got? And all the other parts that are connected to that. And the operators. So it's been quite different for me because I've been used to talking to lots of teaching and learning people around what we're doing with Microsoft 365, but now we're actually talking a lot more to HR around the employee experience and thinking about how this fits in within the organization and how it keeps you moving forward. And we find it all comes into Teams. There's a surprise. So we're looking at how we fit all of that in, and we're looking at how Teams can play that big part in what we're trying to do. So what is Viva actually made up of? So Viva is currently made up of 4 areas: connection, insight, purpose, and growth. And those will be the bits that I go through a little bit as we keep looking at that. You'll see under connection, we've got Viva Engage, and we've also got Viva Amplify with a star next to it, because that's coming out in 2023. So that's something we announced new at Ignite last month. We've got Insight, which is about improving productivity, where we have Viva Insights, which is already released, and Viva Pulse, which is coming out again shortly. Then we've got Purpose, which is all around Viva goals, and we've got some customers I'm already working with who are doing proof of concepts around Viva goals and whether that fits in with what they're trying to look at for staff in their particular organisation. And then we've got Growth, which is about helping your employees learn and succeed. So Viva Topics and Viva Learning. Now, when we think about what's available at the moment in terms of what you can use with your existing licensing, if you've got Microsoft 365 A3 or A5, there are elements of Viva Learn that you can already use. There is elements of connection or engage that you can already use as well. So that's really important that we can do some of that before without buying another license. But many of the areas do require another license on top of that. And they're all built on our privacy and security, as you completely expect. Okay, so let's just pop into that. And coming soon is that role-based experience for those people where they may have a need to nurture applications for students, for example. There's Viva Sales that can be used in there as well. So that's another one that's coming out very shortly, but may not fit for most of education. And it's all powered by our graph. Microsoft Graph. So many of you have heard us talk about Graph in the past and how this connects all sorts of bits together. We've got APIs and all the information, data, etc., all being pulled into Graph and being used. And Viva sits there at that bottom layer where we're able to connect the signals for smarter work. So it's about actually making work easier, making work smarter, and helping us understand where it all fits in. We've got a growing list of partner ecosystem, and by this I mean where is it that you can get things from. So if you're using Viva Learn, for example, I can pull Coursera things into there. I can pull edX and Cornerstone Learning into Viva Learning, and dozens more are coming out and doing so much with all the different ways of training and be able to work with it. So let's dive in a little bit onto some of each of the bits that we've got available. So connection, or as I said, all about keeping people informed. So what are the benefits? We're helping people to discover their relevant and personalized information. We're creating communities, and we're also making sure that things are a two-way dialogue between employees and leaders. So many people have had these emails, your emails come around and say, right, we want to do a bit of feedback. We're going to put out a survey. We're going to do X, Y, and Z, and feedback to leaders. And sometimes that can be a little bit stilted. So we're trying to work out how we connect people regularly and show information regularly that's going to help people understand what's going on. So we're going to get a lot of personalized communication and resources. You're going to have a lot of communities aligned to shared interests and functions, and also leadership tools and people and org discovery. We haven't got a chance to go through it all, so I have a much more comprehensive deck that we can share and will help you understand many of the things that are coming. But to give a flavour of what's arriving here, we've got already Viva Connections. So some of you may already have launched Viva Connections up in the top left hand corner. This one's called RelaCloud. We obviously have your organization's name next to it, but you'll see that we're getting a company feed here, and this is the modern one which is coming out very shortly, where it's card based. It's pulling information together. Some of that information may be completely organization based. Some of it might be personalized to you as a member of staff or as a student. So you can actually think about how you launch this, whether you want to do this with everyone at the heart, and hopefully soon we'll have the ability to have at least 2 types of pages. You might choose to have a staff and a student one, but still that personalization is really important. So you could be thinking around you know, what's coming up, what's on somebody's calendar, for example. What is it that you need everyone to know? How can we share these conversations, and how is it going to pull that information in for me? So if we're actually, you know, thinking about where they are in terms of faculty, for example, it could bring in stuff that relates to them, but there can also be that wider full organization information that's shared for them. And as we see that move forward, we're going to see that Viva Home is going to be coming in 2023 as I'm sharing this, and it's saying, hey, good morning, Megan. So here we've got that complete personalization around the Viva suite here for them to be able to see what's going on. It's going to be telling them, all right, so you're off to a really good start. What have you got coming up in terms of learning? What have you got coming up in terms of announcements, etc.? And it's giving you that personalized dashboard for you to be able to get access to and to be able to understand and see as we keep moving forward. Then if we move on to the next one here, as I keep moving forward, I'm going to start speeding up a little bit, but employee engagement and communication at scale. So thinking about here, how we're getting that two-way dialogue. So how are we sharing? And some of this you'll see in terms of engage, it's a little bit like Yammer. So we've taken a lot of the Yammer stuff in here into our Engage platform to make that easier for people to be able to work with and give it a nice fresh look that will work for all of you. If we think about insights, insights is something that many organizations are really looking for to see how their organization is functioning, but also giving individual personalized insights around what's happening for them and how they're working and what that looks like for them in terms of, you know, are they working outside of what are really their hours that they should be working? Are they making sure they're getting that quiet time that they need to make sure that they are able to perform in the way that's expected? So we have insights that can give loads and lots of different visibility into organizational health. So right from that high level right down to that personal level for everyone to be able to take part in. And in terms of insights, This is something that we get every day, and we're starting to get the emails that come through with this as well. So it's about sending activities for me to do. So should I take a breather break? Should I make sure that I book some focus time so I've got time so that I can actually spend time on things that I need to do? How am I having a good day? So I'm giving some reflection history here, which is available now for you to be able to use. And then am I sending praise to people? So am I recognizing how people are actually doing in our organization? Is there somebody that's gone out of their way to really help me in the past few days, for example, that I can give praise for? And as we think about this, you're going to see that what's coming in the new daily experience in 2023 as well is this email. And this email then says to you, right, you're off to a great start for the week. Let's have a look at what's going on, or it can end your week, and it's asking for giving you insights into what you're doing and what that looks like for you. So really, really important that we think about how that works for us. And I get some of this now, and it's really interesting to see what's happened during the week and how that works. We talked about regular and confidential employee feedback. So an easy way to do this through Viva Pulse, again, just announced, and we'll be rolling out as part of that whole Viva suite. So, what do you want to do? What do you want to feedback on, for example? In terms of organizational health, so if you think about Glint, and many of you know that we acquired Glint not so long ago, that you'll be able to get information about average weekly after hours of where people are working, what's the well-being like for the organization, and how does that work. In terms of purpose, so what are we doing in terms of purpose, in terms of goals? This is where we're getting into that goals idea of setting clarity for what are your aims for that year as a person, as an organization, and then we give you some great visibility on what that looks like then. So goal clarity and alignment at scale. So what's happening? Are you on track? Is it at risk? Are we going to get to where we want to get? And then if we look at growth, that last category there, we're thinking about how do we develop and retain your top talent. There's a lot of uncertainty in the workplace, and people moving jobs, or people looking for something different. So it's really good that we keep hold of those aspiring people to make sure that they're with you moving forward, and making sure that they're actually developing, and you're helping to develop those people that are with you as you keep moving forward. And for that, we've got Viva Learning. And Viva Learning is personalized managed learning for all employees moving forwards. Nearly done. I'm moving quicker. So apologies. It's integrated learning experience. Get it through the learning app, and you can see all of the information brought in here. This is where I was talking about the different types of courses coming in. So we've got LinkedIn courses here. We've mentioned Coursera earlier, edX, et cetera, that can all come in through LMSs as well. Knowledge and expertise through Viva Topics. So, if there's a topic going on, what's it look like? Who's working on it? There's nothing worse than working on the same thing as someone else and not really knowing that it's happening. And by that, we create that knowledge graph. So with the bit in the middle there that you're thinking about, as well as all the things that then link off it, confirmed topics, discovered topics. So that AI is working really hard to make sure it brings in everything that you want to be able to see. And that's all with Viva at the main part there. So we've got the Viva suite in total, as I popped up earlier on. And the last bit would be take some next steps. I've given you some information about a website and a blog, and I'll share all of this as I mentioned. And there's also some on-demand recordings there about what we've done lately around Viva. And obviously the guys that are hosting the webinar today, I'm more than happy to talk to you about Viva and how that works for them as well. And with that, I'll hand back to you.